Gaslamp Theater that I think is the reason why we know each other pretty much, indirectly. Is like it made me reconsider, I guess, my opinion about Wes Anderson films and kind of go back and look at all of his work through a different lens, I guess, so to speak, and appreciate it a lot more. You know what I mean? So maybe that's why I think this one's my favorite. But
that's a great. I've said before that it's kind of hard picking my second favorite.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a toss-up between Rushmore, Fantastic Mr. Fox, and Moonrise Kingdom. But I think in the end, because of how much I love it and that emotional when it hits me at the end of Moonrise Kingdom, I think that's why I'll put it up for second.
Gotcha. Yeah, Moonrise is definitely very, very good as well. Okay, so for my second rec, I'm not sure if you've been able to catch there's 2 episodes currently out on Starz. It's the Blind Spotting series.
No, but I have heard good things about it. I was a little iffy on whether or not I was going to check it out. Uh-huh. Just because I love the movie so much. Yeah. And I think that not having Daveed Diggs and Raphael Cassell in the show, I mean, I know Raphael Cassell pops up in every now and then because the show is about his girlfriend, or she wasn't married to him, right?
No.
Yeah. So it was, I know the show is about his girlfriend, so I was a little iffy that it wasn't going to focus on those 2 characters because they were so good together. But I have heard good things about it, so that's good to know that you're liking it.
Yeah, I think you'll really, really dig it too. Even Helen Hunt's really good in it, surprisingly. She's
I read that she was in it. Cool,
she's Miles' mom. But it's especially because it's based in the Bay Area. If you're a fan of that of that culture and whatnot, it's very it's great, man. It's blew me away. It's way better than because I was on the fence the same way that you were. Like, how are they gonna do anything that comes anywhere, close to the perfection that is the film? Mm-hmm. But they somehow are doing it, man. In my opinion, at least. This is definitely like one of the best shows Starz I think have had come out since probably Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Cool, yeah. I'll definitely check it out then on your recommendation, because I we've talked about it before. I do love that movie a lot.
And yeah, to kind of answer your question, Miles, he pops up, and even though he's in prison, he still is a major character in the show. So far, at least.
Cool, because Cassell was really funny in that movie.
Yeah.
As just being like the over-the-top fuck-up.
All right. Unless you have any last-minute words, we'll get into the main focus.
I do have one last-minute word. I forgot to ask you. Did you give Ned Beatty a shout-out when he died last week or 2 weeks ago?
That might have slipped my mind. I don't recall. But let's do it right now.
R.I.P. Ned Beatty. Dude was a good actor. Died, I want to say it was 2 weeks ago now. Or maybe just under 2. But he was in Deliverance. He's in Superman. If you've ever watched Homicide: Life on the Street, which I recommended, or had you recommend, a couple months back when Yaphet Kotto died.
Oh, yeah.
He was part of the original cast of that. I would love to recommend a movie that I think is fantastic called Network.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Beatty's only got one scene in it. It's basically just, his only scene in the film.
That's the Faye Dunaway, right?
Yeah, with Faye Dunaway and Peter Finch and William Holden. Great movie. And when Ned Beatty pops up in the movie, he's only in it for like 7 minutes or so, but he has this incredible monologue in the film. I highly recommend you seek it out on YouTube. Definitely watch the movie if you've never seen it, but look up Ned Beatty's monologue from Network on YouTube. He's awesome. So just wanted to give him a shout because the guy was a good actor.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And now for the movie focus of the week.
All right, so this week you've taken over the show to talk about the Royal Tenenbaums. It's rated R. It's from 2001. Can't believe that. It's a comedy drama. It runs at 1 hour and 47 minutes, and it's got a smooth 81 on Rotten. It's directed by Wes Anderson, written by Owen Wilson and Wes Anderson, starring Gene Hackman, Bill Murray, Angelica Houston, Danny Glover, Ben Stiller, Luke Wilson, and Gwyneth Paltrow. In the film, we are introduced to the Tenenbaum family, made up of Royal and Ethelene, along with their 3 prodigy children, Chas, Richie, and Margot, who all find great success early in life, but several years after the family have all went their own ways, Royal, the father figure who had walked out of their lives in their youth, is determined to reunite with his family, even if it means being deceitful. Although this was already Anderson's 3rd film, The Royal Tenenbaums is arguably the director's first project where his full whimsical style is present in every aspect. Distributed at the time by Touchstones Pictures and released in the U.S. on December 14, 2001, the film was met with positive reviews and was Anderson's most profitable film up until the release of the Grand Budapest Hotel. Thank you. So, Chris, my question for you tonight is tell everybody at home why this movie means so much to you, and or just an overall kind of like what draws you to Wes Anderson as a director as well?
Well, the reason I wanted to talk about this film, and I said at the top of the show during my recommendation, is this is my absolute favorite Wes Anderson film. I'm a huge fan of his movies. I'm a huge fan of his work and his aesthetic. I know that that's super hipster to say. Everyone is always like kind of dogging him for being, really twee. Like super precocious characters. But it really works for him, and I really love this movie so much. You and I were talking about Tarantino movies years ago on the show, and I told you that much like Jackie Brown, I never thought that, I don't think Tarantino will ever make a movie as much as I love as Jackie Brown.
Okay.
That's not to say that I don't love his other movies, which I absolutely do. But with the Royal Tenenbaums, I don't think Wes Anderson's ever going to make another movie that I'm going to love as much as this one. And I really am excited to just talk about it and kind of just what it means to me. So I was excited to talk about it. I think it absolutely plays as a comedy. I mean, I watch it and I laugh at 1,000 different things and little idiosyncrasies, but it's got this whole undercurrent of sadness throughout it that kind of dictates where the movie goes. So, like Tarantino and Jackie Brown, I don't think that Wes Anderson's ever going to make another movie that I love personally as much as, as the Royal Tenenbaums. And it was a movie that I saw it when it came out. I think it got released in December of 2001, but it didn't get released here in San Diego until after the new year. I think it was the first weekend of the new year in 2002. And ever since I watched it that first opening weekend, I've just always loved it, and it just really connected to me. For some reason, it wasn't the dad thing, because I didn't have a strained relationship with my father at all, and there's no correlation between my life and the events of the film, but it's just something, a film that I've always loved, and just thought that it is a comedy and it is a drama, but it I think more than any of the other films he's done, maybe with the exception of Darjeeling, I think this one is a much better drama than any of his other films, because it has that undercurrent of sadness and kind of reality, especially with divorced parents.
Yeah, there's a sense of realism there, like a sense of like the story being grounded, as even though you're being kind of walked through these chapters as if it's a book. It's supposed to be fiction, but it's still grounded in some way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree with that.
Well, what I want to hear now is, what were your impressions of this movie the first time you watched it? Because I know that having this discussion with you a few years back, like, you really weren't into the movie as much as I was.
Yeah, so in 2001, I remember my grandparents bringing this home, and I watched it then. But obviously, I was, a lot younger than you in 2001. So I think it kind of went over my head. I was like, oh, this is okay. This is different. This is something that I haven't really seen before. You know what I mean? And it felt fresh in a way, but I wasn't moved by it. And then going back to that discussion we've had maybe a couple times off air, an ex-girlfriend of mine was a huge Wes Anderson, nerd, I guess. She loved his films, and she had me rewatch this one, Royal Tenenbaums, with her, and there was just something about, like, because she was, one of these really, like, art housey type women, who just kind of, in a sense, they like to cram what they love down your throat in all the wrong ways, if that makes sense. And so I guess, like, I started kind of resenting this film in a lot of ways because of that. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what you were saying earlier, is I just didn't really care about it the way that I probably would have had that not happened to me in my personal life. So you kind of, bringing it full circle and having me watch it, under, a different lens, so to speak. And a lot of years have passed, and, my feelings have changed. And, I think I like Wes Anderson as a whole a lot more now, being older. I really enjoyed the Royal Tenenbaums, and I think that was I guess my age might have had a lot to do with it, but yeah, and I've went through some of the things that happen, events that happen in the film as well. Maybe not exactly like that, but and
no, but you connected with certain aspects of it.
Yes, of course.
Or certain things really kind of hit home.
And of course, being obviously a movie guy, especially now I'm doing the show for so many years, I really appreciated this ensemble cast. Looking back on, it's like a time capsule that's, like you said, it's never gonna be duplicated. You know what I mean? You're never gonna get Gene Hackman back in that capacity. It's just like that film was a perfect storm, kind of, and it's like wonderfully off kilter. You know what I mean? It's so strange when you watch it. Of course, his Anderson's like trademark color palettes. You see them, of course, in all their glory in this one, it's pretty fascinating, you know, and how it kind of seamlessly blends like that this kind of somber tone